Gary Neville has made a massive claim that Liverpool fans do not see it now because of where they are, but believes because of the money or lack thereof spent by Liverpool Football Club when Jurgen Klopp leaves, he believes there will be a drop. He believes that Liverpool, with the way they operate, will situate between 4th and 5th in the Premier League. For context, he has predicted that Liverpool win the league this year. He believes the firepower up front is too potent in the Jurgen Klopp system, and they will catch Man City and surpass them. But do you agree with Gary Neville's assessment that actually Liverpool fans won't be happy with this ownership structure once Jurgen Klopp's gone? The likelihood of replacing Jurgen Klopp with a manager is good or better is seen as unlikely. Liverpool fans, I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. Let's delve into this in a bit more detail. Smash that like button for the Football Terrace. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Gary Neville appears to have taken some shots. At Liverpool. I don't quite know if it's as deep as that. I think there's a little bit of I understand where Gary Neville is trying to come from with this, but I want Liverpool fans' opinions. I want to know from you right now, is Gary Neville, in some respects, talking some sense? He states that Liverpool fans don't see it now because of where they are, but once Klopp leaves and the money they are spending means they finish 4th or 5th, which is where they should be, Liverpool fans won't be happy with their owners. And I think what's intriguing contextually when you see this is essentially what Gary Neville is saying. Jurgen Klopp is out of this world. He is what takes you from being a 4th to 5th place team and being title contenders, title winners, Champions League winners. He is, I reiterate again, predicting that Liverpool Football Club win the English Premier League this season. But what's your stance on the angle that he's coming from? Is your squad really only the 4th or 5th best in the league and it's being elevated by Jurgen Klopp? Or do you think any good, let me rephrase that, any top-level manager that comes in is going to be able to elevate this team into title challenging fashion, get this team into a title challenging mode, make them be able to go toe-to-toe with Pep Guardiola's Manchester City? Is that what everybody's thinking here? We know how much Liverpool supporters rave about Jurgen Klopp, and rightfully so. He turns good players into brilliant players. The way he develops, the way he manages. We also know, and I've heard this from a lot of Liverpool fans, that managers, and this is the irony in all of this. So Don Husim, shout out to yourself, my brother. He says this in spaces. He said it on the Terrace many times. Managers like Klopp win you 12 to 15 points a season. If you take 12 to 15 points off of where Liverpool are right now, what are they, 4th or 5th? So there is an element of logic there where I get where Gary Neville is coming from. However, where I think Gary Neville misses the point here is, are Liverpool really going to hire that bad a manager? The only way Gary Neville makes any sense here is if Liverpool Football Club hire a dud. If they bring in Gerrard and he's not ready, as an example. If they go, right, Nagelsmann's the guy and he just doesn't cut it in the Premier League. That's the only way what Gary Neville is saying makes sense. So I kind of feel like there's an element missing from his statement. It isn't this squad is only 4th or 5th best in the league, because I don't think it is. They've got arguably the best goalkeeper. They've got, in many people's eyes, the best right back. They've definitely got the best left back. They've got the best centre back in Virgil van Dijk, and they've got 2 top-class centre backs in Konate and Matip. They have one of the best DMs in Fabinho, one of the most intricate players in Thiago. They have Jordan Henderson, who's an outstanding captain and good football player. You've got young players like Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones in the middle that are two of the best young prospects in their positions in the league. They have Mane, who may not be the same Mane of 3 or 4 years ago, but still one of the best inside forwards in the league. They've got Jota, who is deadly. They have signed Luis Diaz, who looks Premier League ready from the bat straight away. Energy for days. You have Firmino, who, again, isn't the same Firmino that he used to be. But I'm pretty sure in the next 12 to 18 months, that individual will be replaced. They have the best player in the world right now in Mohamed Salah. They are looking at Jude Bellingham amongst a number of other players to try and bring in. And that's kind of their main 11. You then start to look at the squad. There's still good players in there. I've mentioned squad players in that as well. Liverpool have an astoundingly good squad. Do I think it could still do with some extra depth? Yes, I do. But they can still win the league. They could do a quad with this squad. So I don't even know if that is even fair to say. And I understand that Jurgen Klopp is probably what takes them from being title challengers and maybe winning 1 or 2 trophies to being the team that could conceivably win the quad. But I think where Gary Neville is wrong here is from the standpoint of you're acting like Liverpool are going to re-employ Roy Hodgson. They're going to give David Moyes a go. They're going to bring an unknown, untried, untested manager in. The only way this goes wrong and Gary Neville's view comes to fruition is if FSG make mistakes. Let me just take a sip of my tea. It's all about whether FSG make mistakes. Do they commit footballing suicide by hiring a manager whose philosophy is not aligned enough to that of the clubs under Jurgen Klopp? Do they bring a manager in whose training style, man management skills, style of play, formations, etc., are too far removed from that of this Liverpool squad and the way they are now? That's the only way this goes wrong. If they bring somebody in who is an 85 to 90% plus match, which shouldn't be hard to find, because you obviously, you like in any organization, you know the strengths and the weaknesses, you know the skill set of an individual. You go out and look for that same type of person. Liverpool should already be on the road to doing that now, and I'm sure they are. Reviewing candidates, looking at the soft facts, looking at the style of play, how they handle things when they're in the ascendancy, their mannerisms when they're going through times of conflict or times of trouble. All of these things are what Liverpool Football Club and FSG will be doing right now to assess who is right to replace Jurgen Klopp. Now, things change. It's 2 years until his contract runs out. So it's highly likely in that time that there'll be, some managers that are looked at now as the potential replacements. And you look at Gerrard as an example. A lot of Liverpool fans in their heart want it to be him. I don't think Liverpool fans are silly enough to say, give it to him regardless, because Liverpool fans care more about their club than any individual connected to it. That's what real fans do. But he might be absolutely flying and be the guy they want to bring in. Equally, in 2 years' time, his stock could have dropped that no Liverpool fan wants him. Nagelsmann's looked at right now as a candidate. Who knows where he'll be in a couple of years' time? Who knows what the thoughts on Graham Potter will be in 2 years' time? And I'm just throwing that name out there as an example. We have no idea, but this is on Liverpool and the football club to be managing from this point. And I'm sure Jurgen Klopp will be helping them in some respects in particular meetings surrounding that. So, look, I understand exactly where Gary Neville is coming from. His train of thought, I think, is fairly sound. I don't think the points he's made are overly disrespectful. I just think he's missing a key component. The squad is good enough to win league titles with the right manager. That manager just has to echo the club's philosophy that's been built and has been building under FSG. And, of course, a lot of that has been manipulated and forged by Jurgen Klopp in his team. But you don't fix something that isn't broken. And ironically, if they try to fix too much, if they do a David Moyes and let somebody come in and smash everything down that Klopp has built and try to go again in a new mold, it will fail, in my opinion. They need someone to come in and essentially pick the reins up. They need a manager who isn't so shrouded and drenched and saturated in arrogance that he can't just pick up where Liverpool's best manager since probably Paisley, in my opinion, has picked up from. And I say that because, I don't know, Dalglish is pretty good as well, to be fair. But from that era, at the very least, you know, going through the 70s and the 80s, the managers in that time period, you know, Liverpool fans will probably agree and disagree on the hierarchy, and that's for them to decide. I'm not overly bothered. I'm just actually praising Jurgen Klopp here, not trying to offend. And from my standpoint, I just don't agree with Gary Neville that they're going to drop to 4th or as low as 5th. I mean, saying they should be 5th. Again, you're basing on monetary sums spent, not the quality of player that you buy. I read during the January window that Kamara and Hadara collectively you can buy for about 30 to 35 million pounds. The level of quality from Germany at 30 to 35 million pounds is massive when you consider West Ham want 150 million pounds for Declan Rice. So the level of money you spend isn't always respective of the quality you get. And Arsenal were a great case in point this summer. 150 million pounds spent and they were laughed at. But look at the overall quality of player that they were able to bring in. Just look at it. It was very, very, very good indeed. And it's something that needs to be focused on a little bit more. But I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this right now, people. Make sure you're smashing that like and share button. You're leaving us your comments below. Are Liverpool really only 4th or 5th best in the league without Jurgen Klopp? Let me know.